Welcome to my workshop. You are watching Casual DIY channel, and in today's video we're going to be testing in great detail the CO2 laser from xTool P2 with 55 watts of power under the hood. We're going to go through engraving tests, cutting tests in different thickness of plywood, starting let's say from 3 going up to 10 millimeters to see what this machine is capable of doing. But we're also going to be cutting softwoods, hardwoods. We're going to be engraving different types of material like slate, ceramic tiles, leather, plenty more to come in this video and plenty to cover, and that's for you to see exactly what this machine is capable of doing. So let's start. The first test is the engraving test to see what we can expect from this machine and what settings we can actually use. Okay, now it's time for the engraving test. Let's whack our piece of plywood inside. And there you go. That's the results that we've got. I have to say, at 100% power and 100 millimeters per second, and this is 4 millimeter plywood, that is ever so deep. Look at that. Nearly went through there. So as we can see, more or less in the middle spectrum, that's what we need to be looking for. That's the settings you can use. But even at 600 millimeters per second, I would say it's even valid right up to 30% there, maybe even 20. 10 is a little bit too light, but look at that. Absolutely fabulous performance. Alright then, now I want to see how this machine cuts and what settings I can use. So first of all, we're going to start with 3 millimeter plywood and we'll go from there. Let's have a look how many more I can poke out. And that's it. Okay, so that's the final result. Not sure about this single one. Why is it not out with 70% power and 60 millimeters per second? On the other side, as you can see, we actually got no overburn at all. You can see slight marks over here, so it started to penetrate at those spaces. But yeah, so that's the results what we've got at 80% power, 80 millimeters per second. That's the lowest it's probably gonna go. As I said, not sure about this one, but yeah, that's our results for cutting out 3 millimeter plywood. So now, as I more or less established the power of this machine, the next testing file will be a little bit different. Obviously we don't need all those speeds there, so I'm gonna amend that and we're gonna do a 4 millimeter plywood, and after that we'll see what I can find in my workshop. Okay, let's have a look at the results, what we've got here. And that's what we've got for 4 millimeter plywood. 60 millimeters per second, 90% power is the last square we managed to cut out. Still very good performance. Okay, let's try this out with 6 millimeter plywood. Right, let's have a look how many more boxes we'll be able to remove. That is looking like it's it. So 6 millimeter plywood, single pass, 20 millimeters per second at 60% power. That's the lowest we can go with 6 millimeter ply. However, I'm not gonna stop there. 8 millimeter plywood sheet, let's have a look if it will be able to cut through that. Now again, I have changed the settings on the cut test, as there's no point to do anything above 20 millimeters per second. So I've adjusted the settings for 8 and later on for 10 millimeter plywood sheet. So let's have a look at the performance at this thickness of plywood. Let's have a look what I can still pop out. Okay, bit of a strange one, that 30% came out. It went nearly there, not far off at all. So maybe a bit of a change in the density of this piece of plywood, but overall, look, 10 millimeters per second, and we managed to get it down to 70%. So that is not bad going at all. For 8mm plywood in a single pass, not bad at all. I'm going to use the same thing for 10mm plywood, and we'll see what results we're going to get there. And as you can see at the bottom, we only got some charring at the lowest speed and with the highest amount of power. Overall, quite clean. Okay, now let's try 10mm plywood sheet. As you can see, 10mm, and I only got this little piece left. Okay, so I need to change the file again. I thought I had a little bit more, but unfortunately I don't. That's my last bit, so I'm gonna amend the files, and we're gonna try to cut in that. And it seems that's it. It actually managed to scorch it, but it didn't go all the way through. Okay, but it wasn't far off. So very similar performance to the 8mm plywood, although we've stopped at one more. So yeah, not bad at all. And look at that, there's hardly any overburn on the back. Tell you what, for 10mm plywood, I'll take this performance. Now, as you've seen so far, the performance on the tests is very, very promising. It does show the machine packs a lot of power, and it's actually able to deliver that as well. And with engraving, we do have similar situation. Thanks to the amount of power this machine packs, you can dial up the speed of your work and create more projects more quickly, which means, you know, if you are running a small business, time is money, as we all know it. So from that perspective, definitely a very solid machine and a very solid choice. Now, let's test it out on some pine wood, and after that, some hardwood as well. Check this out. First of all, pine, 17mm, 20mm, and 24mm. The settings for all the cuts on all the timber, the softwood and the hardwood, is 3mm per second with 100% power. That will give us a clear indication in how many passes we'll be able to cut through each timber, and a good comparison. Okay, as we've seen, one single pass for the 17mm pine board. As you've seen, 20mm pine board, it needed 2 passes to get through this. Now it's time for the 24mm. Okay, I think it actually went through because I've seen the laser going through. Yeah, it was just holding on the last fibre. So 3 passes for 24mm pine board. A bit of scorching on it now. So yeah, I think if we went to a little bit lower, 2mm per second, you probably could get away with 2 passes or potentially even 1 pass. Right, now we're going to have a bit of a harder task, okay? These are hardwoods, so they are quite dense. I've got 10mm dark ash, 20mm white ash, 21mm dark ash, and 22mm beechwood. Same settings, 3mm per second. Let's give it a go. Okay, single pass, no issues at all for the 10mm ash board. No overburn, no nothing, so yeah, quite good job. But let's do something harder. So the 20mm white ash. Again, it was holding on the last fibers there, guys, and we do have quite strong charring on this now. So tell you what, out of curiosity, so that's 4 passes I think on the 20mm hardwood ash. Let's, out of curiosity, try the dark ash. So sometimes the difference between the species can actually change the outcome. So with white ash we had 4 passes. Dark, let's have a look what we can achieve with the dark ash. Okay, that's been only 2 passes, but I think I've seen the laser going through at the bottom. So let me just check if it actually is holding on the last fibers. Yeah, look at that. So as you've seen, more or less the same species, but different color of the piece. As you can see, there is a bit of a charring. And on dark wood, it actually went through in only 2 passes. Whereas with the white ash, okay, it needed 4. Okay, so I'm actually intrigued by this now. Let's try the 22mm beechwood. It's lighter than the dark ash, but it's darker than the white ash. So let's have a look how many passes it will need to cut through this, and that's obviously 22mm. Okay, that's number 4. I think I'm gonna stop there regardless if it went through or not. As you can see, it did not go through on 4 passes, and we started to get a lot of charring and burning, so I'm gonna call it a quit. Light wood, 22mm, hardwood as well, it didn't budge on this. However, if you're going to be using darker type of wood, still, you know, hardwoods, you will be able to get really decent results. A bit of charring, yeah, if you amend the settings a little bit, I think you can get really good results. So as you've seen, very solid results here, guys, on the softwood and on the hardwoods. For this type of machine, I think it was a very good performance and a good representation of what this machine is capable of doing. Now remember, this was on all the pieces 3mm per second, so we still got a bit of leeway there, and you can reduce the speed of the laser. However, with the thicker woods, if you do that, you are coming in the danger that you're gonna start a fire. So what I would suggest, increase the speed and increase the number of passes, or more or less reduce the power of the laser, and then you should get really decent results. But yeah, tinkering with the settings should get you in the sweet spot. Now I think we've done enough cutting tests. Let's do some engraving tests. This machine can go up to 600mm per second when engraving. And let's do just that. The settings will be 600mm per second, 100% power, and 100 lines per centimeter. So let's engrave a photo on this piece of plywood. Okay, so these are the results from engraving, and as you can see, it's still super deep. This is 4mm plywood, really deep, very nice details as you can see, but way too much power still for this. I'll probably run it at 50% power, but it just wanted to show you what you can achieve with the maximum settings here, guys, and it just proves you can really get your projects done very quickly at maximum speeds for maximum profits. Next, let's engrave a piece of slate. Tell you what, that came out absolutely lovely. Fantastic. Beautiful detail. And tell you what, as we are on the topic of actually engraving stone, because slate, it is some sort of a stone, I've actually got a proper big stone, and obviously it's really uneven. We're going to do 2 things in this test. I'm going to show you a very cool feature this laser has, i.e. it can engrave things that are not just flat. In this case, a stone with shape like this. Plus, we are able to remove the slats inside of the machine to actually put this really thick rock on the tray itself. So you are actually able to work with thicker materials if you wanted to without the razor bed. Obviously, if you want to have the ability to work with really thick items, then the additional accessory, the rising bed, would be a necessity. And very quickly I'm going to show you the whole setup in the software as well, so you understand how it all works. Okay, so in the software it did take the photo of the rock inside, as you can see. However, we need to change the whole setup in the software to be able to engrave this uneven rock. So on the right hand side, change the option from slat flat to curve process. Okay, click on that. Click on curve measure. Okay, let's go and do that. And it tells you some instructions. Okay, so we need to measure 1 point in the far top left and then 1 point in the bottom right. And with using these arrows just over here, we can do that. Plus, that's the distance the laser head will move, so you can adjust it to pinpoint the right location of your two marks. Okay, so I'm now going to move the laser head to my rock. And you will see the red dot laser that is on the module itself, and you just need to pinpoint that on the rock itself. Okay, I went too far. Now I'm going to change to 10 millimeters distance. So I'm going to make sure that the red laser dot is in the right position. Let's say I want it here. So now I'm clicking on mark. So that's the first mark in the left top corner, and now we're going to do the bottom right. Okay, that's all done. We can press next, and on this screen you can see how the laser module will actually go around this perimeter that we just selected and measure all the distances. So we're going to press start measuring, and the laser head will go through each single dot. And when that's completed, check this out. It measured how our rock is actually looking in this 3D vector way. You can adjust the smoothness and the tension, but I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to press done. And that's the square where you want to put your design in. Okay, so I'm going to put some sort of a text in here. And the settings, I'm going to go for 15% power, speed 80 millimeters per second. We'll see how that's going to go. And yeah, let's start. And check this out. That came out absolutely brilliantly. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. That's one of the most unique features this machine has, and I don't think any other machine like this in this price range will do a job like this. Imagine the projects you can tackle with the xTool P2. That's absolutely fabulous. And yeah, don't forget to do that. And one more thing. Check that out. Absolutely amazing feature. Okay, next let's try to etch clear glass. Okay, I've got a piece of painter's tape on this, so when I'm going to be measuring the thickness of the material, the laser from the machine actually has got a place to do that. Otherwise it would just go through and not measure it correctly. So let's try to etch this. We'll see what results we're going to get here. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic performance. The settings here were 300 millimeters per second, 10% power, 100 lines per centimeter. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, time for another feature and a test as well. So I've got this metal business card. Okay, different colors. Obviously this is metal, but it is coated, okay, in some sort of a paint. So let's engrave these. However, there's a very cool feature with this machine, so I'm just throwing them in there and I'm gonna have the same design on all of them. Okay, check this out. Let's head over to the software. Okay, so I'm gonna set this up on one of the cards, making sure the size is correct, just like that. Okay, and now with this selected, I'm gonna go to Smart Fill on the left hand side at the top, press it, and look at that, it automatically pasted my design, my sign on the other two cards. And look at that, the bob-on in the middle, absolutely perfect. I don't have to do anything else. I'm gonna put in the right settings and I'm just gonna engrave this on. Okay, let's see what we've got. Look at that, perfect center. One click of a button in the software. Imagine how much time you can save with this machine and this software. Just drop your materials in and the software will do it for you. Absolutely brilliant. Now it's time for the clear acrylic. This is 3mm. We're going to engrave this and cut this as well. Been cut out with no issues at all. Gonna wipe off the dust a bit and check out that engraving. Absolutely phenomenal. It cut through the 3mm acrylic with no issues at all. Look at the edge. It's not melted, it's beautiful and crisp. Engraving is fantastic. It's actually quite deep, so I probably could reduce the settings just a little bit. Unless you wanted that deep, then yeah, there you go. Absolutely brilliant. How about black acrylic? Well, I've got a piece, 10mm. I've used a different laser to actually cut that out, so ignore that. We're gonna cut out another section, probably just over here, small section over here, to see what settings we can use to actually cut through this 10mm black acrylic. And as you can see, it took 2 passes for this to get through with those settings. If you were to go down a little bit with the settings, you could probably get it done in 1 pass. However, the quality of the cut is absolutely superb. Can we actually engrave something really tiny, like this toothpick? Okay, they did use it on examples in their videos from xTool, and I wonder if it's actually true. Let's try this out. Just gonna tape it down so the airflow from the air assist won't blow this away. Okay, as you can see in the software, that's the toothpick, and that's my design. Casual DIY, subscribe again. So in this case, you actually won't be able to automatically set up the focal point for your laser, so you have to measure the thickness of your material, and I know this one is 2mm, so I'm going to manually type in 2mm, and hopefully everything should be all right. You see, it moved it a little bit, so we can take it back again. I hope you can see it, but the engraving is actually there, and it's quite good. Absolutely brilliant. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just a marketing stunt, but it's on it, and it's really, really clear. Absolutely amazing. Now let's try to engrave leather. It could be a tricky one because it's not 100% flat, but hey, we'll see how it goes. And it's fantastic. The engraving is super sharp, super clean, absolutely beautiful. Spot on performance. If you're working in leather, well, this could be the laser for you. And the final test, a white ceramic tile. I've got longer B1, Algo Laser Delta, so they are all diode lasers. So it will be cool to see how they stack up against this CO2 laser. Let's check it out. And as to be expected, absolutely beautiful. Nice, crisp engraving, quite deep to the touch. Now I hope this mega test was somewhat informative to you and gave you a better understanding of what this machine is capable of doing. However, these are just examples and initial settings. With tinkering about with the settings themselves, you can achieve far more than I've showed you in today's video. Now, this is the second video in the series about this machine. The first one was about more or less unboxing and setting the whole thing up, and there is a bit of process to follow when it comes to this machine. So if you are thinking about buying this machine, or you already got it and not sure how to start, well, I'm going to link that first initial video that you're going to need to start off working with this really good tool down below in the description of this video, so go ahead and check it out. Also, I have created a special separate playlist where it comes to this machine, as I will have a lot more videos covering this tool, the accessories and projects I'm going to be making. So make sure to save that playlist, as there will be plenty more videos coming if you're still on the fence about purchasing this tool, or you're just curious and want to see what's possible. If you're interested about some more specs about this machine and how much it costs and everything else, are there any offers on it, the link to this tool and the accessories is down below in the description of this video. However, on my channel already got plenty of other videos, project related, where it comes to the workshop, maybe some DIY stuff and woodworking. Well, I've got some really cool players just over here. Have a look, maybe a video will pique your interest. So hopefully I'll see you on one of those videos there. Take care.